Hey everybody, find the boys on Facebook by searching The Longbox, a month in comics, and follow them on Twitter at The Longbox MIC.
Hello and welcome to The Longbox, a month in comics. I'm Doug, and with me is our in-house, CWDC
Flaroverse
specialist, Richard Steadman. Say hi.
How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, how are you been, alright?
Yeah, good. Very, very good.
Excellent.
A little under the weather, so if my voice is a bit croaky, I apologise. I'll try my best to get through this without coughing.
Excellent. I'll mute it if you do. Cut out.
One.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about, as I probably buried the lead by introducing you, the Flaroverse. Do people refer to it as that? Because they used to, and then it was the Blantyverse, and
I've never heard it referred to as the Blantyverse.
Okay.
I'm
all about Flaroverse.
Flaroverse. Or Arrow and the rest of the shows.
Not CW-verse, I've heard that one.
Yeah, I'll call it the CW-verse, depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
If people understand Flaroverse.
Now we're really burying it. So Crisis on Infinite, Crisis on Earth X is what it's called. Crisis on Earth X.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to do my little kind of diatribe that I do at the beginning of these things. Because the Flaroverse or the CW-verse is a network television show, I have an aversion to network television shows and the way they're set up and the way that it's kind of 15 minutes and you hit an advert break and false jeopardy and wrapping it up. You know, Freak of the Week. I hate all of that stuff. So, although I'm a big DC fan, these shows I do not get on with. But I must say, this motherfucker, I got on with. I loved it.
It was amazing.
And I think it's because, just to let anyone know that hasn't seen it, they don't do what crossovers normally do they? It's not like, I always compare it to the CSI because that's the easiest way to describe it, where you start off in Las Vegas and then then the case goes to Miami, so then you have the Miami show, and then it goes to New York, and then you have New York, and that's how they do it. That's not how this is. It's not like, oh, we spend some time with Supergirl, and then when it goes to the Flash, we do the Flash thing. It's not Supergirl Crisis on Earth X. It is just Crisis on Earth X.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time. Like, we'll talk about it in a minute a bit more, but when the first one opened, it opened with a shot of Earth X.
Mm-hmm.
Now, last year's crossover with the invasion storyline.
Yeah.
The Supergirl element of it was an episode of Supergirl.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it, apart from portals opening every now and then, and then right at the end, Cisco came through with Barry Allen.
Yeah, it was just the start of the story there.
But it kicks off right from the get-go.
Yeah. I feel like this is set up like, so what is it, 45 minutes a piece, so 3 hours.
Yeah.
I would say this feels like a 3 hour movie. Like, that is the way.
I would love just to sit and watch it.
Yeah, I hope it comes out on DVD so you can just kind of sit down and watch it without, having to switch episodes or anything like that and go through the parts. Because, I mean, okay, let's just start from the top. So we start off with, we're on Earth X, which is Nazi-occupied Earth. Yeah, so it is basically Man on the High Castle. They make that reference. It's the Nazis have won the war and what's happened in modern day. Great concept because it's...
Brilliant, love it. It's the sort of concept that you throw around having a chat in the pub with mate. What happened if the Nazis won?
I believe this is based on a comic back in the 50s as well, so this is old school. It is DC lore. It's not something they originally come up with.
I believe so, yeah.
I was going to read it for the podcast, but I could not find it.
Fair enough.
It's not on any kind of website that I use to read my comics.
No, yeah, like I said, I don't know much about it. I was under the assumption that it was linked into somehow the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I'm aware that every time DC used the word crisis, it's a huge story.
And this is
shit's going down.
Yeah, I think it's a wise. I've got on my notes. It is a shame that it couldn't be called Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth. Justice League Crisis on Earth X, because they're the Justice League now. I know that they haven't got our heavy hitters, but
in considering that last year for the invasion crossover, the training facility looked stupidly like the Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
Why not?
We're getting to that point now, and I understand because DC have this problem with cross branding. Although they own all of their properties, they don't want to confuse viewers with as much as they can with kind of TV and movie. But I just feel like maybe the title, like...
I think coming straight on the heels of
Justice League.
The Justice League film,
you can't call it this.
You couldn't call it that. I mean, they could have, but in the hope that the Justice League did better than it did, but I don't think they would have changed
I
it.
think, to be honest, as I've said before, I'm actually a fan of the Justice League movie, but I understand that people aren't, and people that aren't, this might be a breath of fresh air for them.
Yes.
Because this is, in many ways, everything the Justice movie isn't.
Could have been.
It is everything it could have been, and it is everything that it isn't.
And it's everything we wanted.
Yes. And we'll hit those moments piece by piece. So first scene, we set up the fact that, we have a bad Archer. We don't find out who it is at that point, do we? Or do we get the reveal that it's Oliver?
No, you don't get the reveal straight away. You don't get the reveal.
Until a long time.
No, until halfway through.
But so we have that. We have the alternative reality set up. Then this is something that I always say that comic book movies should do, and this does, which is the cold opening I always love it. Indiana Jones, when it does the opening scene is the third act to a movie that you've not seen. Yeah. So he's completing a bit. That is what the introductions to our key heroes are in this. So, and they fucking go for it. Like, it cost them money to do those opening scenes, which are not plot driven. Money that they could have used because it's like Supergirl fighting a White Martian.
No, she's fighting one of the Dominators, which was the nice little nod from the Invasion.
Okay.
So those are the baddies that everybody fought in the Invasion last series.
Okay. She's fighting that, and then Ollie's fighting some ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random ninjas.
And then
Flash is fighting
King Shark.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, the money spent on just that set. And I found this extremely comic booky because the fact that they're doing this thing, but they're having the conversation about the wedding.
Barry's wedding. Have you RSVP to this
Who've you invited this person?
Yeah.
That is like...
and you've got the legends.
What was the legends?
They're in Nottingham.
Oh, yes.
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
But, just quickly rewinding a little bit to Earth X.
Yeah.
The person that the Resistance, as it were, sends is Earth X version of the Guardian.
Yes.
Which is Jimmy Olsen.
Which he gets disbanded, doesn't he? So, yeah.
From Ara, so they off him. Early Doors, which is... it's a nod to put Jimmy Olsen in there.
Yeah.
And it sets up the tone of, actually, although you know these characters... Yeah. Some of them aren't going to make it.
Yeah, we'll get... Well, I mean, when we hit it chronologically, I'll mention it more in detail, but because this is set in another reality, they can just be, like, throwing characters in left and right, and this does. It's something like, obviously...
And characters that we've already seen, but with a twist, because they're from a different Earth.
Because this is something that I hope they do in the Flashpoint Paradox movie, is... Although most of the wider DCU has not been set up in the DCEU, when getting to the Flashpoint area, the distorted timeline, they can literally have everyone in it, and they don't need to have fucking backstories, and they don't need to be explained who they are. Just have them in war with each other, and just do everyone. I mean, if you've seen the Flashpoint Paradox cartoon, that's exactly how they do it. Like, everyone's in it, and this does it. Like, it's just like, it doesn't matter that you don't know who they are because you're in an alternate reality. But they also then do the flip side. It's like, characters that you do know, what would they be like in this reality? It's kind of cool. Okay, so we have the cold openings, like I said, with King Shark, etc., etc. They get to the wedding, and as you see in the trailer, the
fucking Nazis turn up.
FX Nazis turn up to crash the wedding, and at first I was like, what the fuck? Like, why would they be because I thought their plan was to take over Earth-1.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, by the way, just to people that are trying to follow the story, Supergirl's like, oh, I'm gonna jump reality to go and see my friend's wedding. Like, that's the way it's explained, isn't it? Like,
last time Barry and Kara had anything to do with each other, Barry gave her a device that allowed her to open a portal or a rift, and pop over for a cuppa anytime she wanted. Yeah.
So she comes over to the wedding. The Nazis then come, and there's that great line where they're like, "Nazis, I hate Nazis," which I believe is a Indiana Jones reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
So many references through it.
Yeah. I'll bring that up now, actually, because anyone, by the way, spoilers, anyone who hasn't seen it, what are you doing listening to this?
It's too late now.
Yeah. But so I'll jump all over the place. So Cisco is great for pop culture references, and he's really good. Anytime this kind of show touches upon ripping something off, all we have to do is call upon it, and you're good. Because like, if you acknowledge it, then everyone acknowledges it. It's fine. My problem is, because of the nature of the plot of this program, they had to Xavier Cisco, and what I mean by that is they had to take him out of the equation.
Yeah.
And that meant that some of that pop culture heavy lifting was not done by him. I think the show, that was my one little negative. The show would have been better if Cisco was kicking around.
I think he doesn't he mention it a couple of times though, where he's just like, I love a pop culture reference.
He does, yes, but there's one particularly that they make a Terminator. They do a Terminator line, which would have been better if he delivered it.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah, that would have been better if it was him that did that. I'm not going to explain why because I want to hit that moment of exactly what he's talking about. But yeah, it was just little bits like that. But they had to, because like I used for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, when I say Xavier them, in the X-Men movies, when writing an X-Men movie, you come to the realization that Xavier is too powerful and he needs to be taken out of the movie for the second act.
Yeah.
And it happens in every single X-Men movie.
Okay, fair enough.
And I feel like, because this involves, the third part of this involves them being trapped in FX.
Yeah.
And that being the entire plot of that. If you had Vibe there, that wouldn't be a problem.
Get out, yeah.
So they had to take him out of the equation for the plot to make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But unfortunately, the humour wasn't as strong because he's just the best.
Interesting. Just while you're talking about Cisco's pop culture references and this, that, and the other, do you know that the character is so pop culture referenced that in The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon wears a load of Flash t-shirts. If you look closely, Cisco wears Big Bang Theory t-shirts.
Yeah, I did know that.
So that's just another one for him not actually saying it, but he's the only one that wears them.
Yeah.
Again, making those references.
Which is so. Then you have that paradox that in The Big Bang Theory, the Flash is a fictional character, but in Flash, The Big Bang Theory is a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which one's real? Yeah, that's cool.
Well, on one of the universes, they both will be.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, so Nazis attack. I'm just trying to go. Maybe we should just go through my notes rather than.
Let's jump around all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, there's a scene just before the wedding. This is not a negative, but it's an interesting thing to talk about. So there's a bit where Carol Danvers' sister, what's her name? Alex comes over and she's going through some relationship issues based on the other show, and she ends up sleeping with White Canary.
Amazing.
Yeah. Now there's a scene where she wakes up in bed.
Yeah.
And sneaks away. Now they do call on it because she's like, "Yeah, I knew you were awake when you slept away." I just felt like there was a moment there to do something really. You have two trained, agent.
You've got a trained assassin
sneaking out of a bed of a train. Like something cool could have happened there, like ninja shit, like to make it. I don't know. I think they missed the trick.
I liked the fact that it was when you see it, Sarah Lance is there lying asleep, eyes closed, and you think, Alex got away with it, that's Christy.
Yeah.
And then they get to the wedding, and she's like, how's your bum?
Yeah.
Like, what? And you're thinking, there's some kinky little dirty thing going on during the bed. I don't know, you fell out of bed this morning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's where it saved it for me, because I was like, okay, at least, because at first I was like, this doesn't ring true, because she trained with the illegal assassins, like, she would sleep
with a knife under her bed.
Exactly.
She's going to know who's getting in and out of her bed.
Yeah, exactly. But then she called on it. But I don't know. I didn't know if there was some sort of comedy thing you could have done there where, like, she knows that he knows, she knows that she knows that she knows, and, some kind of, like, something really elaborate to kind of, like, deal with that situation. But
I think in the light-hearted, with everything else they've got going on.
Yeah, that would have taken
It's a little subplot that wasn't necessary, but would have pleased some fans.
Okay, I'm just going to mention this now because a lot of things that I'm going to talk about comes back to the statement. And be very careful with how I say the statement because it's going to be very different for some people. For me personally, and this is because I don't watch the shows religiously, this is the closest thing that I've ever experienced that feels like reading comics in another medium. So this is the closest that a visual medium has ever come to reading comics. And what I mean by that is it's really deep in history, and you just kind of got to go with it. So like when you pick up a comic, you're always starting in the middle, and you've got to pick everything up by context.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not going to introduce every character. They're all like a soap opera.
People are going to appear.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
Yeah. And this is what I absolutely loved about this. It was like my comic knowledge is going to bring me through. I don't know all the characters and all the setups, but that's absolutely fine because I'll get it through the context.
Yeah.
And the show does a good job, especially at the first few scenes, of writing for a new audience member. I think, but there was a lot of exposition.
It does it sets up everybody that's going to be in it nicely with the overarching theme, like you said about the wedding, and it just gives you a little bit of, whilst this big storyline's going on, they are off doing their own thing. They are fighting ninjas, fighting king sharks, and this, that, and the other, and then it just draws them all together.
And I just think the whole thing had a vibe of, rather than being a TV adaptation of comic book characters, it was just a comic book on TV. I had that very much, like, and there was just
in the same way where when you're reading the comic, you'll get that Americana of Superman just standing there, bold as brass with an eagle on his arm. In the same way you have Supergirl just, and they pause just a fraction not too long, but for a fraction
long enough
longer
to
than
realise
they would have normally.
Like it's a montage. Or
of her
a tableau.
with the S.
Yeah, exactly. It's things like, and it's just little things that just made me feel comfy when I was sitting there, being like, oh, okay, comics. So my wife pointed out when we were watching it, so when you've got Barry Allen fighting King Shark but still having a conversation about his wedding, and she's like, well, if it's good enough for Spider-Man, because that's a very Spider-Man thing, and we know that. And I always felt that about the wedding as well. We hit the wedding a couple of times. It's very Reed Richards or Cyclops or Jean. You know what I mean? it feels like those comic book weddings, and it felt very and I was like,
the sort of thing where you get the big shot and you're like, oh, it's Oliver Queen.
Exactly.
Oh, it's Cisco Romero.
Exactly.
And you've got famous faces in the background.
Every time there's a wedding or a funeral in a comic book,
everyone's there.
You pull back and you get to do the who's who, like the Where's Wally and the
It was great.
And although I'm using this as, it made me feel good, it then sets up for the last episode where, you know, you're getting, you know, they're peppering these characters because they all then come back later for the third.
And then some as well.
Yeah.
Because I was sat there thinking, you know, watching the original fight in the church, thinking, this is going to be amazing when they were all in costume and they've all got everything together. And then I remember saying, hang on, I've seen pictures of them on the Wave Rider.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more people there.
Yeah. Where are all they? Yeah.
Where is everyone?
Yeah. There were ones the other way around as well, where like Kid Flash is there at the wedding but doesn't join in the final battle. There's this nice little line before the wedding as well where it's like the drinks, the night before drink sort of thing, where you have the toast and everything, where Barry talks to Carol about, he just mentions like, I need you to use your talents. And
Clara.
Like, sorry, why did I say Carol? Danvers, that's why.
The wrong Danvers.
I was like, why did I say Carol? Yeah, sorry, Cara. Speaks to Supergirl, and says, I need you to
sing it.
Yeah, your talents. And I was like, what does he need Supergirl for the wedding?
Another crossover.
It's the fucking singing. Yeah, that was a really nice touch.
It's
like
brilliant.
having her sing at the wedding was amazing. Like, I thought that was impressive. Okay, I'm still just jumping around on my notes. You saw this coming. That fucking Tommy Merlin fucking reveal was amazing. Like I said, I haven't watched the show for years. I started watching season 1 of Arrow and kind of drifted off. But I'm like a big fan of Tommy Merlin.
Tommy Merlin was amazing. And he's drip fed, and he spoke about a lot later on as well when you find out that Malcolm is Thea's father, so therefore actually he's Thea's brother.
So just to catch up with the audience, after the wedding is crashed by the Nazis, everyone gets into a big brawl because there's a bunch of supers there and they fight the Nazis. And they captured...
The top 4 Nazi generals, as it were, that come through are...
Supergirl,
Overgirl.
Yeah.
The Dark Archer, Evil Oliver.
Yeah.
Reverse Flash.
Played by the Harrison...
From Earth 1.
Yes.
It is the same Earth.
Yeah, so he's managed to get over there.
And Prometheus, who we've seen in Arrow previously.
And they capture Prometheus.
Yeah.
To interrogate. And they put him in the what they call it, the whole, like what they call it.
Oh, it's in the
tank, what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they demask him, and it's Oliver. It's Tommy Merlin. Yeah. Who is it in F1? Remind me. Look, you told me. It's the
in
son.
Arrow, it's the son of somebody Oliver killed.
Okay, so it's
in
a revenge
season
thing.
1. Yeah. Who trained with the League of Assassins and everything. So it was.
Yeah. Okay.
As equally hard.
Yeah. But in this, they made it Tommy Merlin, which was great to bring that guy back.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they didn't do it. Like, he would be a great end of like an entire season villain, if they could have brought him back.
Well, it was. I always thought that Prometheus originally in Arrow was going to be Tommy Merlin, and then when it turned out it wasn't, I then thought that Vigilante in Arrow was going to be Tommy Merlin, and then it turned out it wasn't, because there were rumours that he was on set. And up until watching this, I just assumed that he was just going for a visit and a chat and a catch up. But no,
Yeah.
he was there for other reasons.
Yeah. So yeah, let's kind of move on. I mean, I think this show is extremely ambitious in what it tries over the 4 parts, and they stretch their money as much as they can, and like.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it in a second. So there are scenes where some of the CGI is a little bit less than good, but I think it's better they tried than trying to write around. And there are some nice write arounds. Like I noticed in part 2 there was about 4 scenes in a row, which was kind of picking up on like emotional plots and character rather than progressing the plot. And I was like, hang on a minute, this is the 4th. And by the end of the 4th one, they were like, oh, by the way, we've got a lead on. And I was like, okay, finally. But there was a little bit of treading water. And I know it's because it's cheaper to write scenes like that than it is. But that's because you've got to pay for King Shark, and you've got to pay for a character that I'm about to mention a little later on. And you know, there's so much action in these 4 scenes.
Yeah.
Like, you do need to have to fill your 45 minutes per episode, you do kind of need to have these sort of scenes.
I don't mind it at all.
I suppose if you're a fan as well, you're happy to have these
because it's the sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, you saw
like the Firestorm one and things like
the Firestorm graphics that you're used to, and you know, I quite like the Firestorm stuff.
Yeah.
But some of the graphics that you're talking about are the tower save with Oliver.
Yeah.
Swinging around, shooting arrows, and the fight in between Flash and Reverse Flash. It looks very first draft comic-y, and cartoony, and I'm happy with that because it's...
Yeah, so I'll kind of explain what I mean. So
it is a TV show at the end of the day, and they haven't got
the movie
HBO
budget.
money.
Yeah. So there's a scene where in the second episode, the good trio face off against the bad trio, and they start to fight, and they do that standard comic book thing where the baddies attack a half-built construction site.
Yeah.
And it's going to go down, and the heroes have to go and stop that from happening rather than, you know, stop the villains in their evil plot.
Yeah.
Because they're heroes. Now, there's this elaborate plot where Supergirl's doing something, Flash is doing something, and Arrow uses, like, grappling wire to kind of string some stuff up.
Yeah.
Now, you can tell that Flash is a show that uses a lot of CGI because they have a 3D rendered, really good looking Grant Gustin in his costume.
Yeah.
And the same with Supergirl, she looks great, but they don't have one for Ollie Quinn because they don't use that type of thing that much. So
not as dramatically as they did there.
Yeah. So what you have is those two looking really good in kind of slow motion or kind of CGI, you know, one shots, but you have Arrow not. He looks like he might as well have been. I'm sure he didn't move. It was kind of a cardboard cutout that kind of swung across the screen. And I was like, ooh. But like I was saying to you off air, the alternative is to not have Barry there and just have the two supers doing it, and that's not what this is about. Like, sorry, you not have Oliver there, but just have Flash and Supergirl there. Because, you know, that's already prepaid.
But they need to be seen to be working together.
Exactly. It's not in keeping with the plot and what they're trying to say. So I'd rather them do that and tell the story, you know, with bad CG than change it, then be less ambitious, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I paid to watch a film and I'm sat in the cinema and this is the sort of CG graphics I get, I'd be annoyed.
Yeah.
But like I say, it is a TV show, and it almost makes me chuckle. Because I sit there and go, oh, that's so bad, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think it almost kind of leans into the charm of it then?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like I say, I forgive it on other reasons. I forgive it on the fact that that's what I want the story to be. I want the 3 of them being heroes and dealing with that.
And I suppose in the same way that you said earlier about it feeling more like a comic book.
Yeah.
And coming straight from the pages.
That kind of does for you.
It kind of does with the...
There's a line, like I said, I'm jumping all over the place. This is wild speculation or kind of your thoughts or what you could do. There's a line in there where they announce that Earth X is the 53rd dimension, Earth, you know. And, you know, they was like, someone mentions, like, why is there another Supergirl? And it's like, there's
53 of them.
53 of them. That means that there should be one for Earth 1. And we haven't seen one for Earth 1.
It should be.
Is that something do you think that's a storyline they should really go into?
No. I don't want to see it. I'm quite happy. Like, we spitballed ideas earlier and spoke about it off air that I'm quite happy that she didn't make it off Krypton.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy that...
Or neither did Cal.
Yeah, or Cal, or anybody, because surely with everybody running around in the Flash and Arrow and on Earth 1, Superman would have turned up by now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because there is a version of Kara in Earth 2, I would like for them to be like she never made it to Earth and she's somewhere else being Power Girl, because that's the alternate reality of Supergirl, and I just think that would be a nice one-off episode that maybe even if you not make her evil, but I don't know, she has to kind of Green Lantern style come to Earth for some reason, but she's off. She's intergalactically Power Girl and has nothing to do with Earth whatsoever, and that's how you get Earth 1's version of Kara.
Okay, would you not be happy that it's a Kara Danvers and not Kara Zor-El, and she is simply a reporter?
I don't know if that rings true, does it? That's not how it...
No, okay.
That's not kind of... Because they all have the same starting point, isn't it? It's almost like... Is it not like that? Is it not like timelines? It's not, though, is it? Because, like... No, so Barry Allen in a different Earth would still have the same dad. That's how it works, isn't it? Like, everyone still has the same lineage.
Yeah, but Barry Allen in Earth 2, when we've seen Earth 2 in the Flash...
It's not the Flash.
It's not the Flash.
But he still has this... That's because he hasn't had the accident. I mean, it's changes in time that make it different. Right?
I agree.
Yeah. So she would always have had to have come from Krypton.
Yeah.
But
she did in Earth X, she just happened to land in Russia. Not Russia, Germany.
Yeah. The reason you mentioned Russia is because it's Red Sun, isn't it? I would like for them to do that though. Maybe when they run out of ideas or whatever, but to see where the cast of Supergirl is in Earth 1. Or is that too confusing?
I think it's too confusing.
Yeah.
In the same way that people will sit and watch that and forget that Supergirl isn't actually from Earth 1.
Yeah.
Why confuse the matter?
Yeah, there was a point as well where they got Heatwave out of the Captain in the tank. He was locked up in the tank.
Yeah.
And one, because I don't watch Legends of Tomorrow, for about a split second I was like, is this the Heatwave we follow, or is this the one that got originally put in there and then we're following one from... You know what I mean? Like, I was like, is this one from the past? Is this a bad version? You know?
Oh, no, the one we follow was the one that was originally put in there.
Yeah. So I thought, like, all the way through we were following the good one from Legends of Tomorrow. But when I saw the cage open, I was like, are they doing something?
Yeah.
And it got confusing in my head for like a split second. And that's the sort of thing that you're talking about. It's like, if you have like Jimmy Olsen, but a different version of Jimmy Olsen, it's just going to get, it's going to get messy. So
it's too much.
Yeah, okay. But I just found that an interesting line because they said it and I was like, there isn't 53 versions because we've never seen the one from F1.
I think it was a nod to the fans of everything known about the 52. Everything like that.
Yeah. I think it makes a point. I think, it's that thing of like, it's just anyone who's not keeping up as an audience. It's like, there's 53 Earths and there's one on every fucking, it's just easier to explain than go, well, actually there isn't. I thought that. There's a nice little All-Star Superman reference in this. I think it's an All-Star Superman reference. Is the actual plot of this, it's revealed the reason that Earth X baddies have come to this Earth is because they need Supergirl, and they need Supergirl to do a blood transfusion.
Well, they need a heart.
They need her heart. Okay, I thought it was a blood transfusion, but
no, they're just going to take.
They're going to take her heart and give it to bad Supergirl, which Overgirl, whatever you say.
Yeah, Overgirl.
And because Overgirl is dying, and the reason that she's dying is because she flew too close to the sun, which is the setup of All-Star Superman.
Interesting.
Yeah. He flew too close to the sun, and the entire premise of that comic is like he's going to die soon. And what he does in his in his final moments. So I thought that was quite a nice.
No, that's cool. Never read it. I might have
to. All-Star Superman is a comic book that we always talk about on this podcast because it's the comic book that is not set in continuity, and it does the origin in 4 panels. So you pick it up and go, okay. Because they want to tell a Superman story, where he's a veteran, like he's been Superman for years. But because it's not in continuity, it's like, okay, so the first 4 pages is literally like parents in a pod.
Okay.
Next panel is you see the planet explode. Next panel, the Kents pick him up. Next panel in the suit, and I just think, like how we
gives you the footnotes of it.
Yeah, exactly, and like how we always salute Incredible Hulk for being like, oh yeah, you didn't have to do the origin for that. You just did it in the credits. Like, that's the comic book version of doing it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we always kind of like suck the dick of that comic because of that. Okay, what else have I got? It's a great scene. So they get Supergirl, and they got Supergirl on the table. And this is what this is all about for me, these type of things. You got bad Supergirl talking to good Supergirl about, should we help people, shouldn't we? And it's they're two different characters, good and evil, but it plays out like your conscience.
Yeah.
Like, should I do this or shouldn't? And I really love that, those sort of scenes, like, where it's just like, it always kind of boils down to what a hero is when you have scenes like that. Like, because
it's
the baddie almost becomes the voice of reason. Like, what the fuck are you doing this for? Like,
yeah.
And to hear like an internal struggle like that be voiced out in a unique way, because you know, not every day do you have two versions, a good and evil, for that to I quite enjoyed those sort of scenes. See what else I've got. Jumping around here. So in episode 3, they end up on Earth X. They all get exiled to Earth X.
Yeah, in the prison camp.
Yeah, so they're in like
Auschwitz
style Nazi concentration camp.
That's the word.
And it is, again, like I said, because we're on a different reality, we can just start introducing characters left and right. And you go, oh, okay, so that's that character in there. So like the ones that we were talking about is Win. From
so you got Win, Quentin Lance.
Yeah, Quentin Lance is great because he is like the Führer's right-hand man, isn't he? He's a bastard.
Yeah, he's one of the Führer's generals.
Okay. Where is Quentin in Arrow? Is he still alive?
Yes, very much deputy mayor.
Oh, okay.
To Ollie Queen's mayor.
Okay, cool.
But I mean, from my point of view, like I said, I was sat there watching the whole thing, almost with a mental tick list of, haven't seen them yet.
Yeah. Oh, so
where are they?
So you were trying to piece it in your head.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know it's gonna happen.
Completely forgot about Win.
Yeah.
Until he turned up.
Well, because he didn't need to be
a general.
There.
No, he didn't.
It doesn't have to, because in the same way that Martian Manhunter doesn't turn up in this.
Yeah.
No, Win doesn't have to turn up in it, but yeah, he did. And that was a real quote.
I was just like, amazing.
We get Captain Cold or Citizen Cold.
Citizen Cold in this, yeah.
But they gave him the fucking comic book glasses. I was so happy.
So sick.
It doesn't look stupid either.
No,
yeah.
I think in the comic book they're a little bit more exaggerated, aren't they?
Yeah,
they appear a bit bigger on his face.
Because when I first saw Captain Cold, I loved the design that they came up with the goggles. And like, it was like, okay, that's a real good live action.
Yeah.
And the fact he didn't play with the hood so much, like he had it, but he didn't wear it like he did in the... But this was like, let's just fucking lean into it, be as comics accurate as possible. And it looked great. I thought
it looked really good.
You also get the Ray as well.
Yeah, I know nothing about him.
I know of him because he's in DC terms, he's really new character. He's like 95. I don't know what character, early 90s anyway. I don't know which writer created him, but I know it was like Joe Quesada, who's the Marvel boy.
Right.
Like, he's the big boy at Marvel. When working for DC, he was the original person to animate him.
Okay.
And yeah, gay character, I think. So.
Now, interestingly, he's from Earth 1.
Yes, and that's never explained, is it?
No, so he must have been hit by the particle accelerator.
And just been
explosion.
Yeah.
And just gone there somehow.
And that's how he got his powers.
Yeah, I can only assume that's how he got his powers.
Anyone who can't picture, or wants to picture the Ray, think Nova from Marvel. Like, he has that helmet. That's what kind of how he reminds me.
Yeah, he's kind of... Yeah, and he's got the whole glowing...
Yeah, he's basically like a ball of light. Like, Cocoon with the Nova helmet, this kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, so that was awesome. I'm just trying to think of any other characters that popped up there. Okay, that was amazing. Before they were sent to... I'll hit my favourite what the fuck moment and watching
you text me this just as it happened. It was brilliant.
So, before they were sent to Earth X, they were having a warehouse fight, which, by the way, has this great one-shot in it where you see all the characters fighting the Nazis, and it's better... I complained about it when we reviewed it. It is better than the Defenders one-shot. One shot's probably a single shot. The camera doesn't cut.
Yeah.
And it just pans across the warehouse and you see everyone fight, and it's done really well. It's really impressive. The Defenders try it on their finale and it's crap.
Oh, really?
And they do it several times in this crisis, and at no point did I think it got to Defenders level. Like, and those Netflix shows have bigger budget and people that know what they're doing with those sort of things. So for this show, for a network show to outdo them.
I love that style of shot because it's almost as if you stood there with your phone in the middle of the fight doing the shot yourself, just panning round, and you can see everything happening, and it's
But one of the things that tips the balance of this fight is Metallo. Metallo turns up, and again, because of budgetary reasons, they can only use it, and you never see him just hanging out on the shot.
No, he's like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, every time you see him in shot, it's for purpose.
Yeah.
So then they're not. He's never just like, they've never rendered him in the background, but he's kind of their like henchman.
It's like an enforcer.
Yeah. And what I loved as well is, this is what I'm talking about, feeling like a comic book. At no point has Metallo ever been set up in this show.
No,
like
never at all.
This is Metallo from Earth X. And the guy, they're like, who the fuck is this? And Supergirl's like, oh, it's Metallo. And that's because, although we've seen all these shows from the beginning, Supergirl exists in a world where that is already established. Like, she's set in a world where, although she's up and coming, or she was at the beginning, Superman has been doing his shit for ages. So all of the Superman villains have already been and gone. So that's where she gets her knowledge from. And it's just literally, no one has to have that conversation. It just, they're like, what the fuck is this? She says Metallo, fucking leaves it as that.
Okay, that'll do.
Yeah, and I was just like, that is the most comic booky thing I've ever fucking seen on Visual Medium. I was like, yes, this is fucking amazing. So anyway, Metallo kind of subdues them, and that's how they end up in FX, isn't it? Like, they knock them down. Yeah, cool. There's this great line, which I kind of sums up kind of superhero stuff for me, where Ollie Queen, this is kind of going through a bit of plot, Ollie Queen, while stuck in Earth X, decides to pretend to be evil Ollie Queen to get everyone to the portal back to Earth, because it's in their main base. So he's pretending, and he is then thrown upon him as a kind of, oh yeah, you should kill this person, is Felicity from that universe. Obviously, Felicity doesn't know him from Adam, but he knows her as Felicity.
And I think for that might actually help hammer home your point a little bit. It's quite crucial to point out that the Führer of Earth X, so the fellow that's taken over from Hitler and that is running Earth X and all the Nazis of that world, is evil Ollie Queen.
Yeah.
He's referenced a lot as the Führer, but and it's only up until this point that you realise.
Oh yeah, it was at that point.
That actually Ollie is the Führer. Yeah. He is in charge of everything.
He is the biggest evil on the planet. Yeah. So there's a bit where he can't kill her. He just fucking clears the room instead in kind of Arrow style, and then kind of helps her up. And she's like, "What the fuck? Why are you helping me?" And I think the line is, what does he say? It is the strong's duty to protect the weak, and it's a real kind of like, it's a hero moment. It's our duty to do this. It's the great power comes great responsibility line sort of thing. Which, this is kind of going off point a bit. When I got into comic books, I was not into superheroes. I came into it from a science fiction point of view, like, oh, okay, you got bitten by a radioactive spider, therefore you have these cool powers. I want to see these powers, and I was reading the comic, and I was kind of alienated from the idea that you were doing good with them.
Okay.
Like, I always read those stories of like, yeah, okay, you stopped that bank from being robbed. Yeah, of course you could take £100 to pay your rent. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
You do that?
Yeah, why didn't you do that? Or why didn't you fucking rob banks yourself? Like, you got these powers. It was only kind of later on in life that I realised that, like, oh no, what is great about these stories is the fact that they are heroic with them. Like, they are...
And I think this is probably going to be one of the most obscure references and weirdest that you've ever heard on this, but bear with me, in the Street Fighter film, when Dowsing is talking about Brack, or Blanca, and he says that, I'm just as guilty as the guys that turned your friend into this horrible.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, but you didn't do anything.
Yeah,
and he says, you weren't the one that pumped him through with the chemicals. He was like, no, but I didn't do anything to stop it.
Yeah. And it's that kind of...
So by not doing anything, you are making yourself as guilty. So therefore, they have to, if it is within their power to do something to stop it, they have to do it.
So basically, that Uncle Ben kind of message kind of just washed over me when I was younger. I was just like, and I think it's almost kind of diluted for the X-Men as well, because the X-Men, some of them are heroes and some of them aren't, and some of them are just getting by through life with their powers. Like, it's not necessarily a like, let's go out and fight Magneto. It's a story about, dealing with your powers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That whole kind of comic book thing, because they were my two ins when reading comics. I used to read Spider-Man and I used to read X-Men.
Yeah.
I probably didn't pick up on this is about good triumphing evil. I was more like, oh, this is a science fiction where people can do fucking cool shit. But now later on in life, I'm really appreciating more of the good versus evil and the kind of like, what it is to be a good person and that kind of message. And this really hammers at home with moments like that. Like, this is a real good kind of...
I mean, I suppose it depends on, the older you are and the more you're going to read into things.
Yeah.
And, you'll find you can go back and read those comics now and it'll...
Yeah, it's all there.
And your message, or what you read into it, is different.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest, I think the ones that have really hammered at home and the ones that have made me really articulate is a couple of films that haven't done it.
Yes.
And I will say those two films are Man of Steel, or the adaptation of Superman in that, and The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man. Both of those characters are not heroic.
No.
And when viewing it through there and hearing people go, that's not Superman or that's not Spider-Man because ... it makes you go, oh yeah, that is right. Those characters are not in keeping. In
the same way that, and there's another point in this crisis when I think that literally says it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one hints at it, where we spoke about the Tommy Merlin reveal.
Yeah.
And Oliver's just like, clear the room, I need to talk to him on my own, and tries to talk him round.
Yes.
Tries to say, look, on this earth, Tommy Merlin was my best friend. We did this, we did that, we did this. And it almost, you think it almost happens. And then you get that old switcheroo before he pops the
Yeah, I actually thought that, because he was a character they brought back, and, it was much weird, I was expecting Tommy to join the team. I was half expecting that to...
Part of me wanted him to.
Yeah.
Like, there was that little part that was just like, oh, I hope they bring him back. And then I was like, no, actually, he like, proper died. So this would be really weird. Almost him jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Saying, oh, no, these are actually quite popular. I want back in.
Yeah. To be fair, I see what you mean from a behind-the-scenes point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's nice that it's a cameo rather than, I'm going to write myself back in. But it's kind of in the back of my head had, like, that Winter Soldier moment of, like...
okay.
Bucky joining Cap. I was like, you'd get that kind of vibe from what they're going for. But yeah, you are right. And it would kind of feel forced. It was almost... There's enough heroes in this anyway. And to be, like, building ones in like that, switcheroos, is just unnecessary.
I mean, it kind of set up the Felicity thing as well, because it's just like, actually, we are going to see people that we know, and our characters that we know and love have an emotional attachment to.
Yeah, but not reverse.
But not these ones.
Yeah. Not the reverse.
No, they have emotional attachment to the face and the body and how they look.
But not that person.
But they are different people.
Yeah, you're right. It does echo.
Yeah.
Just jumping around a bit more, we get to see Red Tornado in a great kind of...
Better version.
Yeah, well, it was a good use of him.
Yeah.
And it's a better redesign. So the first time round, they kind of tried to do what they did in the Vision, where it's just a person...
Well, it was prototypey, so he wasn't even completely finished yet.
Yeah, but it was a human that was painted, though. That's how they did the design. Yeah. This, they just made him a robot. It's a robotic face. It looks amazing. The way it is used, just to give the audience a context, or the listeners a context, when in concentration camp, our heroes are then saved by some freedom fighters, and led by Wynn, and Captain Cold and Ray are in there. They then find out the freedom fighters have a plan to blow up the Nazi base, and our heroes are like, no, you can't do that, we need to get over there to get through the portal. That's where the portal is. And Wynn's like, okay, we'll give you X amount of hours. Okay, cool. So as they're going over, Wynn changes his mind and is like, nah, fuck this noise, I'm just going to blow this up. He doesn't have a missile though, he has Red Tornado.
Yeah.
And he uses Red Tornado, and it's shit like that I fucking love. Like, again, no setup, no context within that, but if you're a comics fan, he doesn't need it, it's just a weapon.
Yeah, that's it.
But if you do know... It
doesn't matter that it's Red Tornado, it could have been anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sat there thinking, I was trying to work out who it could have been, what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then when you see Red Tornado come flying past, and again, it's another one of those little, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's how they got him
exactly,
in. Or I didn't think they were going to bring him in.
Yeah. And again, I keep going back to the Flashpoint Paradox and what I want them to do, but that's the type of thing I'm talking about. Like, where you just throw in Deathstroke, throw in Black Manta. Like, it doesn't matter. If you have a war between one party and another, they just face... They do it in the Justice League movie as well, where, the Green Lanterns are just
the flashback sequence.
Yeah, and just...
Or the history lesson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they, if you do that in modern time, you can literally just pack the rafters with just faces. And that's the type of... Just more of that, please.
Yeah.
Essentially is what I'm saying.
Throw me characters that we know, or we might not know.
Yeah.
And let me do my own legwork.
Yes. And the thing is about these things, it matters not if you know them or not. That's the thing. Because if they're either faceless warrior, or they're somebody, and that works. Just jumping around a little bit more. My kind of waiting for the shoe to drop. So you were saying yours was Tommy Merlin because you knew that you were that guy was Ruben's set. So you were like waiting almost tickets waiting for him. And you said with the legends as well because you were like, these legends have got to fucking turn up. The one I was doing it with because of my little knowledge of it was Atom. I was like, when's the Atom going to turn up?
Yeah.
He turns up quite well. He turns up in a nice moment to save Kara.
Again, on that note, sorry to jump in. Although I was waiting for the legends to turn up, by the time it got to them turning up, I'd forgotten about them.
Yeah.
So that when Eobard Thorne is trying to cut into Kara, and it's not working, I've gone, oh, she's healed herself enough that he can't cut her skin. And then it cuts down and you see the Atom actually holding the knife. Yeah. And I was like,
that's clever. Yeah.
There they are.
I also love the idea of using the red sun light bulbs.
Brilliant.
Yeah, to weaken
dampen powers so she could be cut.
Absolutely amazing. That's another red sun reference as well. That was Russian Batman's plan. I must say I don't like the Atom suit. Like I understand where it came from, like when it was first designed. Yeah. I just feel like we should be in an Iron Man situation now where he can make it more flexible and doesn't need to have the silly screen. And you know, I'd buy the fact if he was in something sleeker and sexier, I'd buy the fact that he's just made the tech better.
In the same breath as I remember talking to you about it because Atom was introduced into Arrow. Yeah. In the same time we were getting introduced to Ant-Man. Yeah, yeah. And it was a case of somebody needs to shrink soon.
Yeah, because
the other one will
look like the copier. Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think you can make the suit sleeker
without
the comparisons. And also, if you're paying a Brandon Roth salary,
you want to see
want a Brandon Roth face.
I'll compromise with you. Let's go with a colour scheme which is more to the Atom.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah. I don't like the visor. Like I said, if you remove the visor and I would believe that costume worked with an open face. But maybe just a colour scheme then.
Okay.
Yeah. Big hand thing is amazing though. And you were telling me that's
never, out of the blue.
Yeah. We've never seen him go giant before.
Or have not from recollection, not from what I can remember.
Because he mentions like I fought a giant robot or something like that, but I don't know if that ever happened or if he was just.
He might have. Okay. I can't quite remember, but
yeah, for our listeners,
at the time it was a nice little shock of.
There's a bit where some Nazis come at him, and because his suit can shrink, it can also make him grow, and he makes his arm go massive and just fucking swats him to the fucking wall. It was fantastic. Like such a good comic book moment. I'm really glad that they decided to splurge on CGI to make that happen as well. Like it was great. So we have this subplot with the Firestorms.
Yeah.
Where it's set up early on that they can now split.
That
and Stein wants to do it.
That has been circulating through Legends.
Oh, okay, so that's a plot thread there.
A bit of the series.
Okay, so that's a plot thread there.
Yeah, plot thread that's been going through. Effectively, Stein's daughter has had a kid, and he wants to go and spend more time with him.
Yeah.
Jax
wants to be a legend.
Wants to still be a legend, but also tug at the heartstrings a little bit more because spoiler alert, somebody doesn't make it out. It's alive.
Well, that's what I was getting at. That's where I'm heading to.
And so Jax tugs at the heartstrings. And it's like, look. Never had a dad.
Yeah.
You've always been my father figure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just.
It's
not just Firestorm.
Yeah, it's you.
It's not the legends you're leaving. You're leaving.
Yeah, yeah. So they have a formula that means that they can split, don't they? And that means that Jax can't be Firestorm anymore. But there is a serum floating around that will give him the powers of a spider, like basically make him Spider-Man.
Yeah. So they've been trying to split. Or they've been trying to work out a way of splitting and keeping powers or splitting without killing each other.
Yeah.
And
they finally
Cisco and
Caitlin.
No, Caitlin and Wells.
Yeah, work it out
and make it. Harris. I would say Grey. What's his name? The older part of Stone.
Yeah.
Stein says, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Jax is like, you don't understand, I want to be a legend. So then makes the
the
synthesizes the
which so they
spider.
They make a Spider-Man reference.
Yes.
So, which is nice. That means that Spider-Man is a fictional character in the Floweryverse, which is a nice little reference. I was kind of, when watching it, I was like, what does this mean if he takes it? Like, and I was thinking, does he become Black Spider? But I don't think Black Spider has those powers. I don't really know too much about him.
No, we looked it up just now. Black Spider was a mantle of a collection of people.
I've read him a few times, and he's never really been done in that kind of exaggerated way. He's always been an assassin in a black suit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he ever had any powers. But that got left to bed anyway because he doesn't take the serum. So I can't remember. Does that mean that Firestorm was in the final battle? Because Stein dies, old man dies before the final battle, doesn't he? Because that's what that's where I was coming to. I found it unusual that they did the wrap up with the family because Jax goes to visit his family
and the funeral.
Yeah, that's all before. No, the funeral is after the final battle, but the going to visit the family and doing their goodbyes is before the final battle. I'm sure because I remember it being at an odd time. Like they have.
Maybe it's their Coulson moment.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's
because they do it for the old man.
Yeah, no, absolutely fine for that, but I don't think that Jax needs to visit the family. I think it still works. It just felt like a weird, like, we're building on pace and momentum and to the end, and then Jax is off with the family. I was like, I would have moved that scene. It felt a bit weird.
Well, maybe
but he couldn't have been in the final battle. But I remember.
No, I don't think he.
There was a lot of flying characters, because he can't be Firestorm on his own, can he?
No, he can't. Well, maybe they build it and build it and build it and build it, and then bring you down just that little bit.
Yeah, so it has bigger.
So that the end.
Yeah, it just felt. You are right. It just felt a little bit alien. Like you do this at the end. You don't. You do this after the casualties have been lost.
Yeah, but then I suppose you're almost into that Lord of the Rings thing. Where it's just like, how many endings do you want?
Yeah, that's true.
So give me a little mini. Just drag me down a little bit.
Yeah, I just felt like time wise, like, do you really have time to do this? But if he's not in the final battle, then yeah.
Well, if you're on the emotional spectrum and you're tugging at the heartstrings, if it's building you up, Stein's died. Go to the family. That gets you really sad.
Yeah.
And then the big emotional win, and you're proper like invested.
But you are right. They do. They do it for him, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, let's fucking like.
And it's like, this is for great. This is for the old man.
Okay, so then we go to the final battle, and I've made a list of all the characters that turn up on this, just to kind of hit home, like,
go on,
how fucking big this is. So you have turning up for the final battle, I believe. Well, they're in the last episode anyway, but I believe they were in the final battle. The Atom, White Canary, Vixen, Steel, Heatwave, Green Arrow. Reverse Flash turns up as a villain, but it's a character from the comics. Killer Frost, Vibe, Mr. Terrific, Wild Dog, Supergirl, Captain Cold, The Ray, Black Canary. Kid Flash doesn't turn up, but he is in the show. There's a lot of that is massive. Like that is
amazing.
Yeah, that is it's
amazing. And did it matter that they all didn't get their own amount of screen time?
No. Like I said, it's cool just to have them in the background.
Yeah.
Like Wild Dog is an example of like that character doesn't get any screen time with his mask off.
No, not at all. Hardly any.
But this is 5 years in the making to get to a situation where you can have a scene where all these fucking comic book characters are on screen at the same time,
and that's without Diggle fighting as well.
Exactly. Yeah, there's more they could bring. Like they didn't bring Martian Manhunter into it,
but Diggle's not fighting for other Arrow reasons.
Oh, okay.
He's got nerve damage, and he's actually taken over the mantle of the Green Arrow.
Oh, so it's been written out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the moment.
So they could have thrown in more, but it's just amazing that they got all of those characters in one scene in the TV show. Like that was amazing. So you have a final battle. Absolutely loved it. Them taking on the Nazis.
Yeah.
All these characters fighting a bunch of Nazis and our three antagonists. The visuals we were talking about off air, I'm really chuffed.
Yeah, I just love it in the sense of, in the same way like we were saying earlier about the one shots and the one pan scenes. You've got Evil Oliver fighting Earth One Oliver, that appears to take place on the roof of a car
the whole time
and never leave it.
Yeah.
Because they have a fight in a church right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And Oliver mentions that they're matched toe to toe. Exactly. So it's almost actually they could just stand there in one place and go hell for leather.
Yeah.
Punch for punch, blow for blow. You've got Supergirl and Oval Girl doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And then it pauses and stops. And then you have your fight between Flash and Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
weaving in and out of people with everybody perfectly still, as if this fight is happening all the time.
Yeah.
Whilst everything else is going on.
Like they're having 18 times, 100 times more fights than anyone else because they can punch per second a lot faster than anyone else. Yeah, and just the visuals there. Obviously, we've seen speedsters done to death now. We've had two Quicksilvers, we've had a movie Flash, and we've had a TV Flash. I really like the unique look of the TV Flash and the way that it's like, whoop, 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 stop.
I love it.
A little bit of fight. And I know they always do it, but it's just part of the visual now when they do the run up the building and
they jump off and
yeah.
punch each other.
Yeah, I absolutely, just really impressed by that. We were talking off there as well about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, and whatever you feel about Zack Snyder's movies and the way he directs, he has now, I think, imprinted for a long time a certain visual style on Kryptonians fighting, and that is the weight that they have. Like, you watch this fight and it is great between the two Supergirls, but it also has that Man of Steel thing where when one punches one, the other goes flying. Yeah. And it's really visually exciting, and the camera doesn't know where to go, and you flip around. And although people may not like Zack Snyder's movies, he's imprinted that into the world of DC now.
It's almost law.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that. Like, I think because the other way of doing it is the Superman 2, where they cancel each other out. You have two Kryptonians and they're just throwing punches at each other like a normal person. But I just love the idea of, like, no, you still weigh X amount. Yeah. So when I hit you, you were gonna fucking end up a mile. A mile across the city.
I mean, they've done that in the with Supergirl.
Zod, when Superman thought that he was fighting Zod but fighting Supergirl. Yeah, exactly the same sort of. It looks great. There's a moment in that scene, so they got one of the subplots in the final battle is they've got to take out the Nazi Wave Rider. Yeah. And to get up there, fucking Killer Frost does the Iceman thing.
Iceman.
Yeah, where he just puts
Frozone for the younger.
For anyone who's a certain age, it's Frozone. Yeah, like leaves the ice up and like skates along it and just goes miles up into the sky to get to the Wave Rider. Yeah. That was amazing. Took a couple of people with her as well, didn't she? Like Vixen and what's her face?
Tomas.
Yeah. To get up there. I was so chuffed with that, and it didn't look bad. Like I said, it didn't look amazing. It didn't look like when Bobby does it in Days of Future Past. But,
oh God, no.
No, but still.
But I think from recollection, I don't think I've seen that before either. She might have done it in the before, but it's just one of those things you're like, this makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just feels like they're pulling out all the steps, Steadman. That was the amazing thing.
It was in answer to your Atom question. Yes, we have seen him go big before.
Okay,
sorry, I've just a quick check.
There was a moment, and the scene hit me a little bit wrong, both for two reasons. The bit where the Reverse Flash is let go, so the fight between them. I understand the conclusion has to be that because Barry isn't going to kill him. Yeah. I just wish that was written a slightly bit. It was kind of like, all right then, off you go.
Go on then.
I'll see you again soon. That scene annoyed me for two reasons. Number one is Grant Gustin didn't have his mask on quite properly. It was slightly angled, and I just couldn't.
Oh, was it?
I was just staring at his chin because I could see it was just skew-if, and I was like, "Fucking just someone retake," because I can see.
Yeah.
See
that's funny.
He's just been knocked slightly.
Okay.
Because that mask is so symmetrical when it's off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second thing is that, like, obviously that had to be the conclusion of the fight, but I wish that they'd written it better, that he got away, or I don't know.
It would have been a nice end to have him die.
Yeah.
In the sense of we've seen Eobard Thawne, whether he looked like Harrison Wells or he looks like Eobard Thawne, on The Flash quite a bit.
Yeah.
And on Legends. But I suppose it leaves the scope open, and it didn't sit right with me.
No.
The whole thing, I watched the whole thing, and I was like, oh.
I mean, right now I can't write
I would have had no qualms with one of the Olivers shooting him.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. Shooting Barry so he can get away?
No, shooting
Wells.
Thawne.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, because that's the problem. Like, Thawne can't be killed by Barry because Barry won't kill him, and they want they want the outcome to be that he gets away.
Yeah.
But there's ways of doing that doesn't just Barry going, I can't kill you. Pat on the back.
Yeah, that was great. Time. See you next time.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just Barry can't do it, and then like something interrupts the fight, and he zooms away before, and like because the thing is like no, you can't kill him, but you can capture him. Like
yeah,
there are other.
You can lop him up.
Don't just let him walk. Don't shake his hand and let him walk away. Yeah, that bit really kind of
give him a gentlemanly pat on the backside as he disappears into the ether.
Right. Is there anything else that you want to bring up about the show?
No, not majorly. I mean, it was. If you haven't seen it, we've spoiled most of it.
Yeah.
But go and watch it. I watched it. Interesting, you said right off the bat that you want them to release it as a DVD so you can watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
I recorded them all.
Yeah.
I purposely didn't watch them until I had them all watched, so I could sit down and fast forward through all the adverts and then watch the next one straight away. And it watches amazingly. I watched it on Now TV and I did the first 3 in one night and then waited for the 4th, and it was so much fun to watch. Yeah. And I think before I'm not going to say I'm going to watch them all before Christmas, but I will watch them all again soon. Yeah, like it was that good. I don't know if I mentioned this on my Justice League review, but what I felt about the Justice League movie is I said it was a live action cartoon, and I would love to get that on DVD to sit next to all my DC animated movies and watch it in the same vein that just a bit of kind of like let's indulge in some characters that I love in a way, and this would be in a way that I love them as well. Yeah, and I hope that I think this is the same. I think that that I would like this on DVD, or I'm going to be pulling this out a couple of times a year in the same way that I do like Under the Red Hood and stuff like that. Yeah. Just to kind of be like, I want to get a feel of these characters, and I mean, one thing I will say, apart from it being relatively standalone within all of the series, the linking thing is Barry and Iris's wedding. Yeah. From reports I've read and spoilers that I've seen, in UK time, next week is the mid-season finale for all of the shows. Yeah. So American time, that's already now. Yeah. There is some fallout. Oh, okay. From what I've read, somebody else from the Legends might not make it. Okay. I'm assuming that's Jax. Yeah. Somebody from the Flareverse is joining the Legends. Right. I'm assuming that's Kid Flash. Oh, wow, okay. Because he's almost written out of the Flash. He doesn't appear much anymore. But I'm sure I'll let you know as soon as... Yeah, no, absolutely, when you're back on. Yeah. Right, I ask you this every time you come on the show. This is wild speculation time. Okay. Next year's crossover, what do you want? Jesus wept. No idea. No idea? I've got a few ideas. Now this is just going to be you just going, calm the fuck down, Dad. Okay, go on, run past me. So I've kind of got them in... most likely, or can be done to... You're having a fucking laugh, can't be done. So, issue one. Pitch 1. They visit the Smallville verse. And what I would like... I just saw your eyes roll. Okay. But I would like for it to be not... I want to know what happened to that universe. So, Smallville was... It ends with him just becoming Superman. So I would like them to go to Earth 40, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And he's... Like, that story has continued. So now we've caught up with a veteran Superman and a veteran Justice League and everything that Smallville was, and kind of find out what's happening there, and they need to kind of help out there. The story where we do a crossover with. My issue with that is the actor Tom Welling, was it? Yeah. Seen him. Yeah, not looking good. No, seen him in the Flareverse. Oh, have we? He played Kara's dad. Kara, Alex Davis's. No. That's the guy who played... oh shit, what's his name? That's from the New Adventures of Superman. That's the guy who plays Superman from the New Adventures of Superman. It's just, the reason is they just I see they can't do it. No, you don't think so? No, in the sense they're owned by the same studio. Yeah, but we've had... In Smallville, they had their own little mini Justice League. Yeah. So they had a mini Cyborg. Yeah, they had a version of Cyborg. So they're Justice League. Aquaman, a Flash. Yeah. I think you're then getting into realms of... This is the thing that needs to... Difficulty. For this to work, there needs to be a Harrison Wells science bullshit moment where it's like,
in every other universe, there's double gangers, but between Earth 30 and 40 and 50, they're not double gangers. They are you, but they look different. Like, that would be the issue with it. But it's just such a loved universe. I would love to, and you know, I know it's not now, but it at one point was the longest running science fiction program, and you know, it was a big thing for the CW. So to be able to bring it back for a one-off would kind of make me giddy.
I'd say never say never.
The issue would be
interesting.
The issue, not the issue, but I think the Oliver Queen thing, you'd probably have to write out their version of Oliver Queen, and because none of the other characters really clash apart from to have two Ollies kicking around.
But also, how would it work in the sense of with the crossovers the way they are now? They started off when it was just Flash and Arrow.
Yeah.
And then you added Legends, or Supergirl, and then Legends.
Yeah.
Where do
to be honest,
fit in?
How I would be pitching it would only be Supergirl, Flash,
so you go back to a smaller crossover.
Yeah, just Supergirl, Flash, and Arrow going over there, sort of.
Okay.
And just spend this doesn't even really need to be a crossover, as it just needs to be an episode.
A mini couple of
a couple of a two-parter for one of them.
Yeah.
But I just think they're doing these big events where they go into different universes and stuff. That one would be awesome, especially to how big the Smallville universe was left, and the potential for it would be amazing to play in that playground. And I would have Lex Luthor as the villain, because that Lex Luthor, I love that version.
Lex was cool.
Yeah, that version of Lex was cool. I would just like to know where that universe is now, and I just think this would be a good way to explore it.
Oh, I'd almost pick it up now.
Yeah, exactly. 20 years later.
As if when it finished.
Yeah. So let's say it finished, I don't know, 15 years ago. You pick up 15 years later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, the amount of characters that they set up in that program, you can pick whatever you want.
Wasn't the ending of that rushed?
I don't know. All I remember about the end, it's so long ago, but all I remember the ending, that he just about becomes Superman.
Because wasn't there... I think I've read this recently, that one of the final shots they always wanted of the show was him... flying in the suit, and all they got...
I can't remember, it was like him by a plane or something.
Him running, and he's just ripped open the shirt, and that's where it finished.
I can't remember, because it's so long ago, but I remember the suit.
Because it didn't get canned, did it?
No, it did end. It definitely had an ending.
But did it
have to
just
rush it?
not get picked up again?
No, I believe the story, and like I said, I'm hearing this fifth hand and half remembering it, that they had a full balls out ending, and then they toned it back.
Okay.
So I don't know, they had a couple of scenes where he was Superman. Yeah. They were like, let's be a bit more ambiguous.
And then that was it. And then the writing team were like, actually, that wasn't what this was about. This was him coming up to being Superman. We don't need to see that.
Yeah, I hear that almost the last episode was a Superman story, and they were like, let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they did all sorts of things. They the League of Justice was set up in that, and all sorts of things. So do loads and loads of characters in that. A simple one, they could fight Superman. Nope. Death silence.
Which Earth? Because we've seen Superman.
Yeah, I just think that he would be a formidable foe for
we've seen
and an epic villain.
The
would you like to see their version? I mean, they tried to do their or they claimed to do their version of Flashpoint Paradox, and they didn't really.
I would love to see that properly. I was going to say it. Sorry.
Do that properly.
I was going to say it, but they tried.
Yeah, they kind of wasted it, didn't they? Would you like to see their version of Injustice?
I would fucking kill for anything Injustice related.
Yeah. So if they did
if the films don't go there, and actually, I don't want the films to go there.
Yeah, okay.
I do, because they've got the better characters.
But the problem is the films have
fuck it up.
Yeah, and not just that, the films have kind of gone. The films need to get lighter, not darker. That's the problem. Yeah. But yeah, so how about an Injustice?
I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I think it would be brilliant.
Okay, because that's a way that they can fight Superman. I was trying to think in what context could they?
How could they do it? Yeah, but have they not kind of just done that with the regime? No, not really. It would be quite samey.
Yeah, but these crossovers probably
has his regime.
Yeah.
And it's referred to as a regime in Injustice. Yeah. It would be good. It would be very good.
Yeah, okay.
What else is on the list?
Crisis on Two Earths. Now, Crisis on Two Earths is a storyline where another universe is being destroyed. So those characters come over to try and take over Earth, and they're evil versions of themselves. However, I'm not pitching evil versions of themselves. I'm pitching what they did in the comics, which is evil versions of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now you can get away with having those characters because they're not Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. They're Owlman, Ultraman, and Supergirl and Superwoman are their names. So you can do those archetypes. So they are essentially Batman, but he's not. Yeah. No, you know what I mean? You're not treading on the toes of the movies.
Yeah.
Because so you can be like, okay, he is essentially an evil Bruce Wayne.
Would it be too soon to do another Crisis?
I think once a year is fine. Do you not?
I don't want him to get complacent with the... Oh, Crisis worked really well. This is the 4th crossover we've done. Yeah. Everybody likes Crisis the best. Have another Crisis. Have another Crisis. I'm still hoping that we get to see... Bruce Wayne has been name dropped in Arrow.
Yeah.
Batman has been referenced in Supergirl. I'm...
Wonder Woman has been referenced in...
Themyscira has been seen in Legends.
Yeah.
I'm still optimistic that we'll get them.
That was my next pitch.
At some point.
That is my next pitch.
Go on.
My next pitch is... We know that in Earth, the unnamed Earth that Supergirl comes from, that... Well, it's been referenced that there may be a Batman.
Yeah.
I suggest that our Superman is teamed up with the Trinity. There is a Batman and a Wonder Woman on that universe, and our characters have to team up to make a Justice League.
I would love that
on that Earth. That would be my.
I would love that.
Yeah, because there's a reference in it in season 1 with when Barry Allen first meets Gideon, and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're Barry Allen. You're the Flash and
founder of the Justice League."
Yeah, and founder of the Justice League. Yeah, and I would like for that to pay off.
Now, interestingly, that's the Gideon from the Time Vault in the Flash.
Yeah.
Not the Gideon from the Wave Rider.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's the artificial intelligence that is Gideon.
Yeah. Not the Gideon from the Wave Rider. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the one that's hit you the most then.
That'd be brilliant.
Like how, and that's how. So they form the Justice League by having our characters join up with Superman and his 2 friends.
Now, considering the Bruce Wayne line in Arrow.
Yeah.
The reason that came about is because Stephen Amell had a great idea. Thought it would be great, thought it would be fun, and at some form of CW party or some sort of DC event, you had Jeff Johns.
Yeah, Jeff Johns. Yeah.
Jeff Johns as the DC head honcho.
Yeah.
And the CW creator there having a chat or whatever.
Volante,
and he just walked over and said, "Guys, I've had an idea. Can I say this line?" And they've both just looked at each other and gone, "Yeah, okay."
Simon Kinberg, who is now not a name we should be mentioning with these shows because he got fired for sexual harassment, but he was
another one for the list.
Yeah, another one for the list. But he was he was creative on the show for a long time, working with Volante, and he always talks about the idea that they always had to trick Warner Brothers into letting shit happen.
Yeah,
where they would just mention something and Warner Brothers let it through, and they were like, "Well, that means that you got to." We said League of Assassins, so you got to let us have Talia al Ghul now, and we said Barry Allen, so
you've got to let us have.
You got why the fuck did you say yes to this? Where did you think we were going with this? And I just hope that they've done the same thing. Yeah. Now here's the question: if you were only allowed to have one Batman, would you rather have it on Earth 1 or on Supergirl's Earth?
Supergirl's Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely Supergirl's Earth. Not just because I think too much is happening on Earth 1.
But because Superman's there, that's the reason that I would want it.
Okay. Mine's a little bit more selfish than that. I would love it because if he's not happening on Earth 1, then you don't have to explain where was he when everything happened.
Of course, yeah.
And then hopefully we can get a proper Batman TV show.
Yeah.
And by proper, I mean fuck Gotham off. That might annoy a lot of people.
That's one thing that no one's talking about actually, is this merger between Fox and Marvel, Fox and Disney.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's not going away as a rumour.
No.
The one thing that's going to be suffered from this, that no one's really talking about, is the fact that although Gotham it's Batman, so it's Warner Brothers, Fox make it. So that will just disappear.
Good.
Exactly. But no one's like, that's the death of
Gotham. Say good, might be upsetting a lot of people that like it, but fuck it, good.
Yeah, no, that's
not
I mean,
the TV
okay,
show
I'd say caveat, yes, exactly that, caveat. You may love it, and Batman is everything, and Gotham is a valid version of Batman. But when that show was pitched to me, I was thinking The Wire. I thought we were going to get The Wire, but with Jim Gordon. That's what I thought we were going to get, and that's not what we got. We got this weird kind of Burton verse. Like, I don't know what's going on in that show, but yeah, it's kind of campy and weird. But yeah, that will have to go, because there's no way that a deal can be made that would mean that show could continue. So yeah, that would be the death of that. I just lost my train of thought then. So yeah, that's the one that you would like then, Trinity.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. I've got a couple more, but I think I've just hit.
Go on, throw them out anyway.
Okay, so I just recently read Rock of Ages again, which is a Justice League comic where it kind of has a dystopian future. A few characters end up going to the future, and there's a dystopian future. So I'd like to explore that kind of thing, where I'll be more focused. I try and pitch it. There's a storyline called Future's End.
Yeah.
And just think Terminator, essentially. Brother Eye's taken over the universe.
Okay.
And old man Bruce Wayne sends Terry McGinnis back in time to stop whoever created Brother Eye, and the time loop Terminator thing.
Yeah.
Essentially, is that. Now, obviously, you don't need to have the main players. If you can't have Bruce Wayne in it, then you know whatever. But I would like I don't know, if you need an old man Bruce Wayne, it's got the voice. Fucking Kevin Conroy, maybe. Like, I'd throw that out there. But you can be non-descriptive on who Terry McGinnis is. Just have a guy called Terry McGinnis come back in time. Everyone thinks he's crazy. You don't even need the opening. You could just have like Barry Allen find Terry McGinnis, and he's explaining that he's from the future and blah 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 blah, and then you could put him in the Batman of the Future suit.
Okay.
Because you don't need to call him Batman. You know, there's ways around the problems, but I would love for them to be able to do it. In the comic, it's Mr. Terrific that is the creator of it, so you know that ties in quite well. And I believe there are other versions where it's Maxwell Lord. So that's the reason that you can then jump dimensions, because then, you know, Terry can find out that actually it's Maxwell, and then you go through that. So just kind of a Terminator thing going on within the.
That would be quite cool.
But I think I'm
still sold on the Trinity.
Trinity one, okay.
But that would be cool. Effectively, I'm very happy for anything that gives me Batman.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Superman, I'm happy.
Yeah, but now you want your Batman.
Batman's been referenced twice. Show me. Yeah.
It was very clever to keep them in separate universes as well, because my big issue with the Flash, when they were like, oh yeah, we can get Superman in that, it's like, but the things that was happening in Flash season 1, Superman should turn up for.
Yes.
And they didn't. And that was like the big issue with people being like, oh, Grant Gustin should be cast as the Flash in the Justice League movie. It's like, but then that would imply that Grant Gustin was the TV show is part of that DC universe, and then it's like, well, where was Henry Cavill's Superman when all of that stuff was happening?
Yeah.
And they've managed to sort that out by being like different universes. They can't just hop around like that. Yeah.
Right, and you know, and that's the beauty of it. They've set up the multiverse from day dot, from ever since Kara and Supergirl and all that, and you know, they can do anything, because we've seen 1, 2, 3 X. We've seen 4, 5
53 universes
of the possible 53,
and we went from 52 to 53. It can be like the Doctor and Doctor Who, just keep adding
more. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And the thing is as well, this is not my personal opinion, because I prefer my DC comics when they're grounded and on the floor. I love my Gotham verse, basically. I love reading my Batman comics. But a big part of what DC is the multiverse.
Yeah.
And they're really leaning into it in a big way. And it's to a point where if the DCU does continue the way it's going, it's going to take fucking decades to get there.
Oh, yeah.
But this show is already there. And really...
You know, you've touched on something you said about the Gotham verse. It doesn't just have to be Batman. I'd be more than happy for Nightwing.
Well, this is the conversation that's been had as well. Is there's going to be a Titan TV show soon, and I don't know who's producing it, but people that are talking about it are like, oh, is it part of the CW? And they're like, no, not yet. As if it.
So jokingly, in the same way that Supergirl wasn't originally.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how close it is to those guys. I don't know who's making that.
I don't know. I've seen a couple of pictures and it looks okay.
Yeah, but like you just said, even if it's a company that's got nothing to do with it, like Constantine, like literally.
Oh, Constantine was amazing.
So far divorced from it, but it was like, yeah, we can write in. Yeah, you've seen pictures of fucking Robin. He looks amazing. That's film quality costume.
That's a Injustice style Robin costume.
It looks amazing, doesn't it? I know there's been like people bitch and be like, oh yeah, it's the Tim Drake costume. I really don't care. Like they're like, oh, it's not Dick Grayson's costume. It's Tim Drake's. But
so a quick Google search from the key terms Titans and CW.
Yeah.
When was this posted? It doesn't matter when it was posted. Today's news has us wondering which Titans are we going to see. Here's what we know so far.
Yeah.
The series is being executive produced by DC CW producers Greg Berlanti.
Okay, there you are.
And Sarah someone.
So you said so it is on the same studio. Yeah.
By all accounts, it is CW.
Yeah, exactly. And they can just, because they've got different universes, they can just then write it. That's interesting. What I can't wait to see about that show is what is Robin's origin? Is he the ward of Batman?
Yeah.
He would have to be, surely. Like, I can understand a world where they would write a Nightwing character that has nothing to do with Robin, nothing to do with Batman.
Yeah.
But you can't write
do
Robin without Batman being there. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that. And as a CW fan of the Flareverse, you'd be pissed, surely, if they were allowed to play with Batman and the Flareverse isn't. That would annoy me.
What, that they can play with Batman?
That
they play about so much.
The Flareverse isn't allowed to have Batman because of whatever movie rules that they've set.
Yeah.
But then this show comes along and they're allowed to fucking flat out have Batman. Like that would annoy me as a fan.
If they weren't linked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, greatly.
Yeah, it'd be like, why is this show allowed it? And that, in this, it kind of bugs me a bit that Gotham is allowed to do it. Like,
but then again, we were talking about how they but how they tricked producers into giving them certain things. If that was what was pitched, if it was pitched of the opening scene will be Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed, and then we'll just go on a Jim Gordon adventure.
Yeah, and then it was
But they've got this other little subplot that we won't tell you about just yet.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's Batman.
I'm not going to go into it on this podcast, but you can clearly see where the change in Gotham happened.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you off there. Okay, we'll wrap this up because we've been going for fucking ages. I want to give a shout out to a listener. I've never actually done this before. I'm going to give a shout out.
I'll sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. This is a shout out to our listener Matt Wimbury from Missouri, I believe. He basically just messaged the show to ask us about our back catalogue. He wanted to listen to more of our shows.
Oh, cool.
And so, as I explained to him, and I'll explain to any other listener, unfortunately, I do not keep them up on SoundCloud or on iTunes, just because you just notice that the hits drop too quickly after a couple of weeks. People just don't want to kind of listen to our shows, so I didn't think it was worth keeping them around on there. So I kind of get rid of them and replace them with another show. However, if you do want to listen to our catalogue, you can find us on YouTube, and I'll start putting more of our episodes up on YouTube. So if you are a fan of the show, you can go back and listen to some of the stuff that we do.
Oh, nice.
I will put a link at the bottom of this information on SoundCloud, and that should pop up on iTunes. So yeah, it's all there. The other thing that I just wanted to announce as well is starting, I don't know if you've heard about this, Stead, but starting the 1st of January, we're in this nice little mathematical equation that if you watch a MCU movie once a week,
you posted it to me the other
day. You can watch exactly one a week until Infinity War.
Yeah.
That got me thinking, I am going to commit to doing that for the podcast. So for every week after January, starting the first week of January, I will post a review for each MCU movie until Infinity War comes out.
Love it.
So that means that obviously we'll do a big show when Black Panther comes out, but then I will chronologically do a smaller show for Black Panther chronologically. So you're going to get two Black Panther reviews. So yeah, I'm going to they're going to have a subtitle. They're going to be The Road to Infinity War, and so you're going to hear a lot more from me. Okay, cool. There's nothing really more to say. So I've been Doug.
I've been Stead.
Read more comics.